2A from the Go book using Office 2010. And on page 307, objective number 1, use the sum, average, median, min, and max functions. And we need to open the flavor inventory workbook. So let's go to open. And there it is. And the first thing you want us to do, as usual, is to save it using our last name, first name, and then basically the rest of the name of the file. So let's do a save as. And go to the beginning here and save it. Okay, and now it says, let's leave row 3 blank, go to cell A4, type total items in stock. Average price and median price. Go to B4. The formulas tab, and in the function library click the Autosum button, and on the formulas tab the Autosum button is right here. And notice there's also one here that's easier to get to. It's on the home tab, and if we click on the Autosum button, don't click on the arrow, just click on Autosum, and this word may not appear here if you have a narrower monitor. You may just see the Greek letter sigma here. But click on that. That's the summation symbol for math. And it puts in the sum function here, which begins with an equal sign because it's a formula. Sum is a built-in formula. And then we provide the arguments in here, what it is that we want to sum, and it's A11 colon A65. That's how you do a range. The first item in the range, and then a colon, and then the last item in the range. And it draws a little blue box around the items that are going to be summed, and we'll just do a little scroll here to make sure we're getting all the numbers that are on the list, and we are. And we can go ahead and hit the enter key. And we automatically go down to B5, and we want to do the average function. That's another one that's here. You can go formulas, but it's easier just to go to the Autosum button here. Click on the down arrow this time, and we want average. And it tries to automatically find the nearest number. So if it's adjacent to numbers, it assumes that's what we want the average of. So in this case, we're going to have to type on top of that. And we want the average of D11 colon D65. And hit the enter key, and we get 8.72 for that. So that agrees with the number on step number 11 on page 309. Activity 2.02 is using the median function, and we are in B6. And median is not one of the ones up here. I've just got 5 up here: sum, average, count numbers, min, and max. And so let's go to the formulas tab here, and this is a statistical function. So there is a book here of statistical functions, and you don't see it here, but here it is. And so we want to scroll down. They're alphabetical. Scroll down to the M's, and we want median. And again, it assumes we want the numbers that are nearby. But we don't, so we're going to have to change it. And in the function arguments dialog box here, we're going to do D11 colon D65. And Click on OK. And we get 7.85. And that agrees with number 4 at the top of page 310. It says scroll up to row 1. Here's row 1. Select the range B5 to B6. Okay, that would be these two numbers right here. And on the mini toolbar, click the accounting number format button. Let's go. They do the mini toolbar. If I pause here, there's the mini toolbar. It usually comes up right away, but click on the $, which is the accounting number format. I've never gotten used to using the mini toolbar, so what I do is I usually go to the Home tab, and right there is the $. But you can do it either way. It says click on cell B4 and click on the comma style button, which is right here, and you can also get it right here. And click the decrease decimal button 2 times. We want the comma in there, but we don't really care about the decimal places because this is going to be a whole number. So we're going to decrease the decimals twice, but the comma makes it easier to read. Activity 2.03 is using the min and max functions. We want to go to A7 and we want to type in lowest price. And then in A8 we want to type in highest price. Okay, and go to B7 and we want the min function, and again they tell you to go to formulas and go to statistical and scroll down to min. I think the easier way to do it is usually you're on the Home tab, so just go to Autosum over here and choose min, and again it wants these, and the numbers that we want are D11 to D65. We can either type that in, or we can go over here to column D and we can click and drag our mouse over the range D11 to D65 and just verify that that's really what does get put in the formula here, and then we can hit the enter key. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to do the max function, and I'm going to do a different way this time. I'm just going to type it in, equals max parenthesis, and I want D 11 colon D65. Again, hit put a parenthesis and then hit enter, and we get 31.95. If you check the bottom of page 310, our numbers should agree with those in the box there, 2.55 and 31.95. And we haven't formatted them yet, so we will go here and format them using the accounting format, and now they look like the two numbers right above them. And now we're on activity 2.04 on page 311. And we want to move data, and we want to resolve pound signs. So select the range A4 to B8. So here's A4 down to B8. And what I want to do is I want to get the 4-headed arrow, which is pretty much a universal symbol for allowing you to move something. And I want to move that over to columns D and E over here. Now when I do that, column E is kind of a narrow column. And what I see is a bunch of pound signs here. And that means that the column is not wide enough to show the entire number. And since it would be very misleading to show part of the number, if it can't show all of it, it doesn't show any of it. And we need to make this column wider. You can go up to here and get your 2-headed arrow and make it any width that you want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a slick way to do it. Just double click here on the border when you get your 2-headed arrow. And if you double click, it will widen the column and make it as wide as it needs to be to accommodate the widest item in the column. Now we've got the same problem over here with our label here being truncated in D4. So let's go to the right here and double click, and it automatically makes that as wide as it needs to be. Okay, now let's go to column to number 6, and it says select the range D4 to D8, and we want I'm sorry, D4 to E8. I missed that. So we want all that stuff there, and we're going to do a cell style here and click on the down arrow, and we want to go to the themed styles. I normally don't use these, but they use them in the book sometimes. and I want accent 1 20% or 20% accent 1. That would be this one. It's a pale blue, and we're good. Now I'm on 2.05 on page 312, and we're going to do some rotated text, and we want to go to the range C4 through C8, which is the cells right next to our data over here. And I want to merge and center those cells, and so whatever I type in here now will be centered. And it also wants me to rotate the text in here 30 degrees. Now, in order to do that, we need to go here and click on our down arrow and do Format Cell Alignment. And we get this Format Cells dialog box, which you can get to in a number of ways. And they want us to put this up to 30 degrees, which is this little dot right here. You can also just go here and type, or you can use the arrows to bounce up and down. And click on OK. And the value we want to put in here is flavor statistics. And it rotates at 45 degrees. And we want the font size 14, bold, italic. So let's go to 14, bold, italic. And we want the font color, and go to column 4, the first one. So font color is right here, column 4, the first one, and we can verify the name. It's supposed to be dark blue text 2, and it is. Click on that, and your screen should now look like this. In the alignment group, we want it aligned right, so click on Align Right, and that just slides it over a little closer to the data. Now we're on page 313, objective number 3. Using the Countif function, the Countif function will count numbers if they meet a particular condition. And we want to go to row 9, which is right here. And in the row heading area, that would be the numbers over here. And we want to right click to select the entire row and display the shortcut menu at the same time. And we want to insert, and we get an extra row there. If one row is inserted, or if one row is selected when we do insert, we'll get one row. And we actually want 3 rows here. And so it tells us to press F4, which is the repeat command, and it will give us 4 rows in here now, 3 new ones that we just inserted. And we've got this stuff shaded here. We don't really want that shaded anymore, so select it all and go to the Home tab again, and over here is a clear button, which will let you clear everything that's in the cell, or just the formats, or the contents, or comments, or hyperlinks. And we're going to clear formats. Actually, clear all would have worked in this case too, since there's nothing in the cells. And now the blue goes away. Now let's go to cell E4. And all I want us to do is notice that instead of going from 11 to 65, it goes from row 14 to 68. Now, we inserted 3 rows. It automatically adjusts the formulas for us. Excel will always do that. If you insert or delete rows or columns, it will automatically adjust any cell references. Let's go to cell A10. Here's A10. And we're going to type in seasoning types. And press Tab. Tab will move us to the next column rather than moving us down to the next row like the Enter key does. And now we're in B10, and we want to use the Countif function, which is a statistical function. So go to Formulas. Remember, statistical doesn't have a book on the ribbon. We have to go down here and choose Countif. And you have to provide 2 things. You have to provide a range of cells. And the range of cells is G14 to G68. You can type it in like that. So those are the column headings. If you look at column G here, it's all of these. And I want seasoning types, so my criteria here is going to be if the word seasoning is there. So just type the word seasoning, click on OK, and it should tell us that there are 20 seasoning types. And if you look at number 7 on page 314, it tells you that the answer is 20. On the Home tab in the Alignment group, we want to align this left. So normally numbers are right aligned, but for some reason they want us to align these left. So there we go. It puts the number closer to the description, but what I would usually do is I would align that right and take the description and move it closer to the number, but that's not what they want you to do, so we'll go back the way they want us to do it. And I've been talking about 15 minutes now, so we will stop this video here and we will start again with activity 2.07 on page 314 with the next video.